Well, I finished flatting most of the front bumper. I've gone round and filled some of the stone chips earlier on, so I'm going to leave them to sink and go off, and then I'll nip over them with a bit of flatting paper, knock them down and then repolish. I'm polishing some of the areas that I haven't done any touchings, start getting the flatting marks out. In hindsight, I probably should have had the front bumper painted, but you know, it just increases the ever-growing costs by another 500 quid. So I'm just trying to save what I can, as long as it looks respectable at the end. It is starting to look better than, you know, I mean, it's miles better than it was. I've managed to flat out the scratches that was on this side as well. Just have to have a look at it, you know, when I've got it to a finish, but like I say, it just keeps the costs going and going and going, and where do you stop? So I'll do my best to make it look respectable, and to be fair, it is starting to come up quite well. I'm just cutting all these flatting marks out. This isn't the finished product. But I've just got to wait for the touchings to go off. I should have touched them up on Saturday and I forgot. You know, I was flatting away, and before I knew it, it was time to go. So they've been done this morning. But yeah, it's coming on all right. You know, there's lots of tiny stone chips. You know, where, like I say, where do you stop? And you've got to take in consideration the costs that are involved with doing all this. We've already had more paint work than I initially thought, so got to stop somewhere. And there's still loads to do. You know, the wheel's got to be refurbed. There's loads, you know, you'll see as we go along. But like I say, we'll recover what we can and get it looking as good as we can. You know, we can't perform miracles, but we can certainly make things look better. Right, I'm going to crack on and get a little bit more polished, and then wait for the paint to go off. Right, I'll see you later. Well, I've been on this front bumper now for about 4.5 to 5 hours, and as you can see, this is a side that had the deep scratches, and it's come up pretty good. I mean, there are lots and lots of little stone chips, so it's not perfect, but it's come up quite well. I've took the water jet cover off to repaint it, because it's been painted in looks like a matte, come off a blue car obviously, and it's been painted in like a matte paint. It don't even match the rest of the car, so I'm going to repaint that. So that's been taken off, and now this side, I've just finished flatting it. Basically there was a really deep scratch just there that had gone all the way through basically to the primer, and it's took multiple coats of paint to build it back up to a reasonable level. I've just finished the flatting on this side, and I've took it up into the wing as well, because obviously I'm going to be flatting the whole side of the car. There was no point in just trying to keep it, you know, stop at the edge of the bumper, because I'd rather it matched anyway. And so now I'm ready to polish this side up. I'm pretty pleased, you know, I mean, it's a million times better than, you know, it was. I'm always seeking perfection, but sometimes you just can't achieve it, and you just have to admit that. So anyway, back to this, and I've used 2500 and 3000 grit to flat this down. and it should be adequate to give a decent finish. That's what I've used on the rest of the bumper, and to be fair, it's come up okay. So there we are. I'll start this. Been quite a long job this has, but that's what you have to put in to get the results. Right, so I'm going to crack on now, and I'll see you on the next one, which is hopefully when I start the wing. So I'll probably show you the results of this. Well, of course I will. Right, I'll see you soon. Right, I've now got the bumper satisfactory. Looks better than it did when it come in. Just need to give it a wipe over now. Get some of the residue off. You can see I've flatted into the wing so that I can get the finish better. And I'm going to start going round and doing the rest of the wing. But although I polished the lenses on these lamps, they looked very, very cloudy. If you can see, it's difficult to show, but they look cloudy on the inside. So I've removed the lamp, took out the bulb holder, and I'm now getting inside with some glass cleaner and a cloth, trying to clean the insides out. I've flatted the glass, well, it's plastic, and repolished that while I've got them off, and trying to get them to look as good as I can before I refit them. So keep varying onto other jobs while I'm going round. The headlights now been polished as well, and they're looking fresher. The badge, which was grotty, and all the plastics need cleaning up now. They're all covered in dust, but that's a job for later. I want to get this finished, which means I've got to paint the surrounds for the plastic trim that goes over the lamps. But I might carry on with some flatting for a couple of hours. I am flitting all over the place on this job because there is that much to do. If I want a break from the polishing and the flatting, I can find someone else to do quite easily. The scratch that I filled in, although it isn't invisible, you can see there, but it is black. Probably could have done with 3 or 4 more loads of paint in it, but to be fair, there's that many stone chips and whatnot in this panel that they probably ain't going to make any difference. Get rid of some of the residue, but it is coming along. You know, it is a million times better than it was. And now I'm going to move on to something else. Just finished cleaning these lights first, and then refit them, and then I'll get on with flatting, I think. Right, well, I'll see you on the next one as this progresses. Here you can see where I've flatted the wing down, and I've started the polishing process, which has then shown up some of the scratches that I have failed to get out on the first flat, predominantly round the wheel arch. So I've flatted those again, and it looks like that I've got them out. There is a defect, it's called a fisheye, just there, and I'm toying with the idea of dabbing a little bit of paint in it, but I'll see what it's like when I've done the first cut. You know, see how obvious it is. If it doesn't stand out too much, I'll leave it. But as you can see, the wings starting to come up nice, and this is the first cut. But it looks okay, and obviously when I get it polished and get all the scratches that I can get out, I can move on to the next panel. But for now, we're looking quite good. And like I say, it's a far cry from what it was like when it came in. Well, we'll see what it's like as a package when we finish the whole thing. But you know, I'm pretty confident that it's going to look really good, you know, considering the battering that it's had. Right, and I'm going to move on and polish this. Well, I'm more than pleased with the outcome of this front wing. Let's have a look, see if it shows the metallic. You can actually see some metallic now. So really happy. So now I can move on to the next panel. Looks better than it has done for years. It's like having cosmetic surgery. Wish somebody would take 30 years off me. Right, I'll see you soon on the next one. Well, I've spent a stupid amount of time now flatting this door. The top half has been done with 2,500 and then 3,000, and I've just finished doing the 2,500 on the lower part. I wanted to show that you could see I haven't got anywhere near the swage line, but I will do with the 3,000 grit. Well, I didn't want to take too much paint off that to start with. You can, I've showed before, you can tape it off if you can't control your hands with the flatting paper, and also down along the edge here. I did tape off the moulding. The lower half I'll do when the car's up in the air, but I'm about to start doing the 3,000 grit on the door. And then I'll give it a polish. There are some marks that I'm struggling to get out, but I'm going to see what they're like when I've done the first stage of cutting. They're that fine. I thought they'd come out, but they're not. So I'm just going to go over this one. I don't know if you can see that. There's one there. I'm going to go over that again with 2,500. But other than that, it's now looking pretty good. I got rid of 99% of the scratches anyway. So that's a winner for a start. Right, I'm going to crack on and get the 3,000 on the go for another hour. I'll see you soon. Well, I've decided to do some little touch-ins which I'm leaving to go off so that I can flat them again. In the meantime, I've just been cutting the top of the door, which is starting to look lovely. So just going to let this paint go off, reflat it, and then polish it, see what it looks like later. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you probably know by now, I've been on the front wing and then the door. I think I showed a video with it all flatted, and that was 2 stages of flatting with 2500 and then 3000 grit. Well, I started to polish the flatting marks out and realised that the deeper scratches were still going to be there. So to find all the scratches, I skimmed over everywhere I'd flatted with a coarse paste, a cutting paste and a cutting pad on a rotary. This enabled me then to have some gloss to be able to see where all the scratches were, and some of them was really deep, so I didn't want to spot flat it because then I'd have low spots, you know, there was that many of them. So I decided to flat the whole panel again, 2 stages of flatting. This got 90% of them out and really left little ticks. So with only little ticks in it, once I started polishing and found the ticks, I could just flat the area, you know, taking it out. If it was like that long, then I'd flat that long, you know, so that it didn't cause a dip. I've managed to get 99% of them out. The 1% are really where there was chips from doors opening against it. I have touched them in certain lights. You can see where I've touched in, but I've flatted it all flat. It's just that the marks, you know, where the doors have rubbed, you know, they leave marks that really, even though I touched them in, once I flatted it, they were still slightly visible. So I've got out as much as I can. It's then had 4 stages of polishing, and you know, to be fair, it's come out really well. Really pleased. But this door alone has took me what seems like 2 days to get it to this position. It seems an insane amount of work to do, and I have to question why it's took me so long, but it is trying to flat all the marks out, you know, and try and get the panel as even as I can. But it's now meant that this panel now looks probably flatter than the panels I've done the other side. Now I'll have to go and have a look whether I need to revisit the other side again and flat that to match this, or whether it's close enough that you'll never notice. You can't look at both sides of the car at the same time, but the point is, if I can tell too much, then, you know, I'm going to have to do it. But I've got the wing and the door done, and I'm going to move on to the rear quarter. But it's been really hard work. I know that sounds a bit sad to say that, because, you know, we're not, you know, I don't expect it to go easy, but, you know, some panels just play you up more than others. And mainly, you know, these have been painted before, and some of the paintwork has not been very good. There was a partial run that I found under here that I couldn't see before I started the job. You know, because the panels was that grimy and not very good, that it was hard to see everything. So this area of the door, I've had to flat this run out as well. So, you know, it all adds up in time. Makes the job seem like it's taking me forever, but I am trying to achieve a better than factory finish. You know, I'm not trying to achieve show level finish. else I'd have had to flat it flatter. The other thing is because it's been repainted, the paint meters won't read accurately how much lacquer is on there to work with. So you've got to play it a bit by ear and experience about how much you take off. But I'm very satisfied now with this door, and hopefully I can get the rest of it to match. The rear quarter panel I don't think is as bad as this door was, but I'll take the camera down and I'll show you the finish that I've managed to achieve with it, and I'm sure you'll agree that it was worth the work. But you know, how do you justify that much time? I mean, I know all my jobs seem to take forever, but it's because I'm trying to achieve something that wasn't there before, and I'm prepared to put the time in to do it. The problem is now I have to really look at all the other panels, you know, to see if it's going to match this door, you know, because I don't want it looking odd. But there you go, you know, it's the pitfalls of sometimes, you know, you take these jobs on, you want to achieve a certain level of finish. You know, I'm not really into doing two-stage polishing, as you well know. And really I want to give it the best that I can, to a certain point. You know, I mean, I could go further and further and flatter and flatter. Like I say, I can't measure the lacquer properly. The car doesn't need to be show finish, but I do want it better than it come out of the factory. So it is what it is. But I'll take the camera down now, show you the finish, and then we'll move on to the rear quarter panel. And there's a good view from here to show the difference in finish. So I'll turn the camera round and I'll show you. Right, hello again. Well, this is what we've been able to achieve. You can see the metallic is popping nicely, and I'm sure that you can see the difference in finish compared to the rear quarter. So we want to get all that matching, but really pleased now how this is going, and I'll show you as I move along. As long as I haven't got to revisit the other side with flatted paper, I need to go and have a look, but I don't want to depress myself at the moment. But there you go. Right, I'll start flatting the rear quarter. See you later. Well, I'm having a bit of break from flatting this afternoon, and I'm recovering the armrest in leather cloth. As you've seen before, it was damaged and there wasn't a lot I could do with it, so I'm in the middle of recovering it. Well, I'm sure I'll show you when it's all finished and back together. So it's coming on slowly when I can get the corners to fit properly. Oh, there you go, that's what I'm up to this afternoon. It should look nice and fresh when it's back in. Right, see you later.